So, got Mike, the light. Let me turn this on. Oh, I gotta kiss Ribble. Good luck, my little Ribble. So. What is up, everybody? Bobby here, the Nintendo Guru. Time for the breakdown. So every single week, Monday through Friday,
every day in between,
I take the top Nintendo stories of the day, talk about them, discuss them, break them down, give my opinions on them. So,
here we go.
Today, Nintendo Life posted an article from the developer of Cosmic Star Heroine, basically detailing and explaining how frustrating it could be to work with Nintendo when you're publishing a game, you're trying to put a game out. The story comes from Resetera, where Robert Boyd, the co-owner of Cosmic Star Heroine developer Z-Boy Games, basically got on and started to discuss experiences working with Nintendo in the indie world and getting games put on the Switch and how things work. So he starts off by saying, we got an okay number of reviews, but yeah, we couldn't get Nintendo to mention the game anywhere. Real shame, since even a retweet from Nintendo probably would have given us a big boost in visibility. I get that it was just a port, but after spending months getting stonewalled by Nintendo, when we were trying to get permission to release it on the Switch, going, fine, we'll play by your rules, and getting a publisher so we can get approved, and still getting ignored by Nintendo when the game was done and set for release is highly frustrating. He goes on to say, it's a good game, and dare I say, a good percent of the millions plus people who bought Octopath Traveler would like our game if they knew it existed. We couldn't even get someone to fix our store page before launch, which never even indicated that the game had a pre-order or early purchase sale until just recently. Didn't even have their trailer on the page. And the page went up about a month before launch, so there was plenty of time to fix it. This is not a one-off story. And I feel like this is a story that the fans, number one, as well as those in the media, need to start addressing this. This is a situation where we have beloved indie franchises that stuck with Nintendo during the Wii U era when times were tough, and they are either going out of business or they're having a hard time moving games, while in the meantime, the games that have all the time, like, just come on Johnny come lately, are getting pushed to the forefront. Now, I understand there's games that are in the spotlight that you're hyped about getting. You know, you're hyped about getting Fortnite. You're hyped about getting Paladins and all that. So I understand that. But at the same time, you have companies that have worked with you side by side from day one, and they're having a hard time getting any love. If we go real quickly, I just want to pull up the Switch, the store. I'm going to pull up the store real quick and show you guys something. So when you go into the store, right, you see the Switch here, there's a featured tab, right? When you go into featured, the games that are being featured, some of these I don't understand. Okami HD, Celeste, Mario Rabbids, Crash Bandicoot, Captain Toad, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the DLC stuff, the expansion pack, Mario Odyssey, Mega Man Legacy X 1 and 2, Fortnite, Octopath Traveler, Paladins, Fallout Shelter, Overcooked 2, Dead Cells, Pokemon Quest, Minecraft, Hollow Knight, Monster Hunter, Splatoon 2, Mario Aces, and Hyrule Warriors. Look, these are the games that are featured, right? These are also the games that have millions of units sold already. Some of them. What I don't understand is why there's not a section where you're trying to push the guys that aren't in the limelight. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever why games that are featured are also on the bestsellers list. And it just blows my mind. I don't get this disconnect where this all comes apart. Like, I've watched indie developers beg literally beg on Twitter for a retweet of a game that they just launched. And then in the meantime, they're just steady pumping out the same tweet over and over and over and over for a game that's launching against this other game. And by the way, it's selling millions of copies. If you're going to do something like that, like make it fair across the board. Like retweet everybody. I don't understand this at all. And I know that some of the responsibility falls on the developers. But at the same time, Nintendo, you're taking a cut of money from these developers to be selling their game on your console. You owe something back to them in terms of there's a partnership here. It doesn't make sense to me why it's not. I look at a company like Two Tribes, right? So Two Tribes made Tokitori, they did some amazing games. And they're out of business. And that's the thing. Like, when I look at the games that these companies are doing, the companies that are struggling, and it's like, these are the companies that were supporting you on the Wii U. When EA didn't care about you, when Bethesda didn't care about you, when Capcom didn't care about you, when Konami didn't care about you. Go down the list. It's crazy to look at these things and go,
we're going to support these companies because they're more popular and they're well known.
But we're not going to support these companies over here.
And I don't understand this thinking. I want to quote a tweet. So Jules Watcham, he tweeted, said, "It's frustrating to read the response to my last retweet are mostly bashing the developer. Nintendo can and should do a lot more to help promote games that are released on the Switch. A system in which games can be submitted for potential promotion on the eShop and social media would be a huge help." There is no doubt in my mind that when a game reaches the eShop, it's buried within a couple weeks. Sometimes a week. There is no depth to the new releases at all. This eShop is a travesty, and I've been talking about this since the probably 6 months into the launch of the Switch, that this is a problem. This is becoming a problem. There's a lot of good indie developers out there that are going to go by the wayside because they're struggling to sell games. If you don't have a fluke of a thing to just promote you, if you don't have a situation where you just happen to be the lucky ones that launched your game when there was no other games out on the Switch, was probably within the first 6 months, then the deluge hit and everything hit the Switch. And now it's even worse where you're getting 20 to 30 games a week launched on the Switch. I feel like Nintendo should work harder with these indie developers. The fact that a guy has a problem on his page, that the trailer wasn't even put on the game page, that there wasn't a notification that the game was up for pre-order and pre-sale, blows me away. How is that even humanly possible? How does that even happen? That it doesn't get fixed doesn't make sense to me. And this, to me, is something that Nintendo needs to work harder on. I think part of the problem could be this. And I don't know, and I'm just taking a stab in the dark here. When companies aren't doing well, they get lean. And I feel like behind the scenes, perhaps Nintendo got lean during the Wii U era. Now, they're getting so many games coming in that they just can't keep up. Whether they're understaffed or they're just taking on too much. I'm not sure what it is. But at some point, some way, Damon Baker and whoever's in charge over there needs to step up, in my opinion, and start to help these indie developers make their games more noticeable and help them sell their games. Whether it be via a retweet, even if they did Nintendo Indies, at Nintendo Indies, or at Nindies, and that was just a Twitter handle to push the indies. Something, in my opinion, is better than nothing. But it bothers me to think that there are some great companies, like again, Two Tribes, put out Rive. Rive is a phenomenal game. Didn't even get any light shown on it. And the company is now out of business. They're around, but they're not making any new games. And that's sad. That's pathetic, and it's mind-boggling to think that we're losing great developers like that. Because what happens if the next console that Nintendo puts out doesn't do as well? What happens when Nintendo has to rely on indies? And there's not, the indies are kind of going away. Because I got news for you. I watched that Nindies trailer yesterday. There was more bad games on that thing than there were good games. The one that Europe did, it was probably par for the course. Good versus bad. The good indies, Nintendo needs to shine a light on them and push them to the forefront, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overreacting here. But when I see stories like this, I think more people should be upset about it than aren't. And that's part of the problem, I think. I think that we as a community need to step up and help the best that we can. And I'm not saying that we aren't. I'm not saying that we're not trying to shine a light on all these small indie developers. But I just feel like we're not the only ones. And I feel like if we are doing it as a community, Nintendo needs to help as well. So my only thing that I would say is twofold. Let these indie developers get a better page or something in the eShop, their own standalone spot where you're featuring indie games, and maybe create an @Nindies, @Nintendo Nindies or something Twitter handle that you're promoting every single week, all the new games. You're not just doing it from Nintendo America, Nintendo UK, Nintendo Japan, and leaving the rest die while you're pumping one game out and pushing one game. Something needs to change. Something needs to change. Especially when these guys are saying, we're asking Nintendo for help. I got news for you. This Cosmic Star Heroine looks amazing. Looks like an RPG gem. Looks great. It's good enough to put on your console and sell and take 40% or whatever they take. But it's not good enough just to retweet something. It's not good enough to get on there and put the trailer up. It's not good enough to fix the page at the jump. A month before launch, they can't get it fixed. That's a problem. That's a serious problem. So, that is all. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please slap the like button down below. Share it with all your friends. Please, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Hit the bell. That's what we do around here. Thank you. Follow me Instagram, Twitter, @Nintendo Gurus. Check me out over at nintendoguru.com. That is all. Peace out, Preston.